What's up everybody, welcome back to another comic book review. So I just want to say before we begin, thank you so much for watching the comic book haul. I truly appreciate it. And today we're going to be reviewing both Supergirl issues, her issue 0, issue 1, and her actual issue 1. Now I just want to say I am very, I guess I'll explain it right now. So right now we're going to start off with this issue right here, which is her issue 0. This is actually the variant cover of her issue 0, or issue 1. I know it says issue 1, but you know, we're going to go with issue 0 because technically this isn't issue 0. So, I just want to give you a heads up. I just want to give all of you a heads up actually, if you're a big fan of Supergirl. This Supergirl does not, how do I say this? She's not the New 52 one, and she's actually not even the pre-Flashpoint Supergirl. This is a whole new Supergirl, and I think it, like my friend says, my friend John, he's the one that told me that he thinks that they're going by how the TV show is, making it more relatable to the character from the TV show, which personally I'm okay with because I'm a huge fan of Supergirl, but I was a little bit disappointed to know that this wasn't either the Flashpoint one and the pre-Flashpoint, and it's not even the New 52 one, so I'm just kind of like, well, that's a little lame. But let's go ahead and begin. So on the first page, you get to see two characters called Zor-El and Loran. Loran is the one inside his like capsule, spaceship type of deal, and Zor-El's pretty much explaining to him that he has not found a cure for him, and because he hasn't found a cure for him, he's been a danger to the surviving people of Krypton. So he has to send him away, and Loran is trying to fight back by saying, I haven't committed a crime, I have a family, you can't do this to me. There has to be another way. But unfortunately, Zor-El still sends him into the one and only Phantom Zone. This is already in the first page itself, and to me, I was just like, dude, what is going on? Because like I said, this isn't the New 52 Supergirl, so obviously we're not seeing some like really nice writing, some very nice writing. Or we're not even seeing like the pre-Flashpoint Supergirl, and in a way, I'm trying to like decide, so is this really going the direction that my friend said, where it's not really like the Supergirl that we're used to? This is kind of like favoring the TV show, and it kind of does as like you start turning the pages and you start reading along, it actually starts to fit in. So let me show you why. So when you turn the page, you find out that Supergirl is inside a rocket ship. She's about to be sent off into the sun because apparently when she crash landed on Earth, she didn't have any of her powers, which is very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. I don't remember Supergirl New 52 ending off that way, and I don't even remember, well, I can't remember the pre-Flashpoint. There's like so many comics I'm missing out on that one, so maybe it ended that way. But instead, what they're doing is they're gonna send her into the sun, and they have her inside this like Matrix type of deal where it can absorb over the energy and give her powers back. Basically how Superman kind of regains his powers or recharges himself from just the sunlight. So as she gets closer to the sun, she starts to lose communications with the people who helped her on Earth. Now, inside the base, they're actually dealing with the problem themselves. A rift decides to open up from the sky, and guess who comes out of it? Loran. Loran actually just crash lands in there, and he's starting to figure out what's going on, and then he looks up and he sees the moon. And then he's just like saying, this kind of like dialogue kind of coming out saying like, now everyone's gonna pay type of deal. And he starts to transform, and I'm thinking, oh god, please don't. He ends up changing to this like giant Kryptonian, well, not too giant, like he turns into this friggin' werewolf thing, and I'm staring at it like, I don't know what side to root for. My Dragon Ball Z fanboy side is like, yeah, he's transformed because he's looked at the friggin' moon. And then my comic side is like, huh, how did that happen? So all the people on the base are dealing with the Kryptonian wolf, or the werewolf Kryptonian. You see Supergirl getting closer and closer to the sun to the point where she disappears. Guess what, folks? She dies. She actually dies. That's it. That's it for the review. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm kidding, by the way, she doesn't die. She actually pops out of the sunlight. She's regained, out of the sun, not the sunlight. She regains her power. She flies straight into Earth because she hears a communication saying, can somebody hear me? And she's like, I can. So she rushes back into the base, and everyone's still dealing with Mr. Werewolf Kryptonian. They're throwing this like red sun solar grenade, which is kind of interesting. That was really interesting. That's probably my favorite thing that's happened so far in it. Then here comes Supergirl just swooping in and just smacks him straight in the face. Or not really to the face, she kind of like launches him out of the place, protecting people around her. And she starts to go at it with this werewolf Kryptonian. So while they start fighting and it starts to get more interesting by panel, it finally gets to the next page where things just start to go a little bit south for me. Not that I was expecting so much more violence, but I was expecting it to be a little bit more interesting in the way it happened. Supergirl tries to talk to him. Literally, talk to him. Tries to tell him like not to be so evil, basically what she was trying to tell him to do. So she was telling him that people on Krypton may have lost hope for him. They might have not found a cure for him, but here on Earth, she says she wants him to believe that there's still people who would believe in him. She believes that she's not going to let him go, or she's not going to fail him, type of deal. And the guy starts to, transform back into a Kryptonian. I'm just kind of staring at it like, by page. I'm really disappointed is what I'm trying to say here in a very nice, polite way. It was interesting though, so that's not the end of the story, but let me continue. So it goes on to the next page where they have him now inside this like testing tube type of deal where he's like on some table in the glass field. They're like analyzing him, they're trying to look for a cure, and then they start to tell Supergirl that his genes are actually poisoned or mutated. He has this like red alien Kryptonian thing. Well, a red kryptonite poisoning. It's like almost like if it was injected in him, and they're trying to tell Supergirl like even if we don't find a cure, we have to make sure that he's still not a threat. And Supergirl's like, no, we have to believe in him as much as he believes in us to find a cure. And I thought that was pretty cool. At that point, I was like, all right, maybe I can let the story slide and we can probably continue reading and enjoying the series. So soon right after, she ends up talking to one of the people who helped her restore her powers, and they tell her that we have a deal. So because we helped you get your powers back, you're gonna start working for us, but you only put on the uniform when we tell you to. Now in my head, I'm just kind of thinking like that's probably a red flag, because Superman didn't really have somebody to tell him when to put on the uniform, unless you're doing some kind of like Injustice, maybe not Injustice, what do I say, like Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller series, where they're kind of like under a government. That's basically how the Supergirl is starting off with. She's kind of working with somebody, and she can't use her Supergirl outfit or do anything heroic unless the people tell her to, which is interesting. So they give her this alter ego, they call her Kara Danvers, and we pretty much know from that point how it goes. She ends up going into school, she ends up trying to fit in with the humans and stuff like that, but that's not where the page ends in this issue 0. So I'm not sure if I could find an image for you guys, but I'm gonna show you guys here anyways. This image right here, who's excited for Batman Beyond though? I am. This is really off topic. I'm super excited for the Batman Beyond. Apparently it's Terry McGinnis again. Yay! So in this page right here, we get to see somebody on the city of Zor-El. No, not Zor-El. The city of Argo. This is after its destruction. That's literally what it says in the top left corner. And you see somebody with a cape, which is funny enough. You can kind of see it right here. And in my head, I'm like, okay, so it can't be Superman. Maybe it's Zor-El. But he starts to get closer and closer to this little tube thing here, and opens it up, and it's a woman. Android, actually. It's an android woman. So I'm starting to think, because when you see the hand reaching in and closing and opening up the little container thing, in my head I'm like, that has to be Cyborg Superman. There's no other person that would pop out into some kind of place like that unless it's Cyborg Superman himself. And this is where that concludes in this issue 0. So let's go ahead and begin the issue 1. The issue 1 is right here, folks. This is the actual regular cover. This is where you can obviously see who the person is already just by basing it off of his face figure and stuff like that. This is issue 1, like I said. Now, if you want an honest opinion between the two that I've already read before I start telling you guys how this one went down, the issue 0 was probably my least favorite thing. I was actually very concerned, and I felt like I was not going to pick up anything related to Supergirl. I really did. I did not enjoy Supergirl issue 0. I came out and just went, it's a nice touch. I can see how it kind of relates to the TV show in some ways, because there's a lot of stuff that I wasn't including in it. And even in this one, you're gonna even hear from me. You're gonna see some similarities if you've seen the TV show itself. I think you guys can skip issue 0 and just start off with this. Is what I'm trying to say. You don't need to have the issue 0 for Supergirl. I didn't like it, to be honest. And after reading this, I have a little bit more hope for the Supergirl run. So please don't disappoint me. Just me. Forget everybody else. Just me. I know it sounds really selfish of me to say that, but I love Supergirl. And it doesn't matter what my opinion is, because there's comic books that we're going to like and there's comic books that we're not going to like. But I still recommend that you guys pick this up, especially if you're looking for something like family friendly. I would highly strongly recommend the Supergirl one. It's really good. It's really, really good. Now the first page actually starts off with you looking at a kind of like a flashback type of deal with Supergirl, where she's talking about her city. She crash lands on Earth, and the second page is this like giant, beautiful image of Supergirl saying, "This is Supergirl," or "I am Supergirl." Let me actually show you guys right now before I actually start talking about the actual book. Look at this. This is honestly amazing. If I could get a poster of this, I would love that. And I would really love that. I really would. I would actually put it up here. I really would. And probably start using the wall instead of sitting down. I really did enjoy the first few pages, to be honest, because it's teaching her how to use a car. It only lasts for like 2 pages, but it's funny because it's a parallel parking that the lady's trying to teach Supergirl to do. So I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know why. It's something that I keep repeating because it's hilarious to me. But then the following pages actually start to show her in her classes and how she's talking about how she actually knows this kind of stuff. But the thing is, the technology that the people use is like very primitive. And in the future, they don't really have the need to use like these kind of telescopes, projectors type of deal. They actually already have things where they can just pop out and it'll show itself, kind of like these hologram things. And it's just interesting because you start to see her deal with a lot of judgmental people around her. That people start to question, how did she even get here? How is she in the class? She seems kind of slow. But in reality, Supergirl is like so far ahead that she doesn't feel the need to go back and slow herself down, is basically what it's looking like when you're reading the pages. While you're reading like a bunch of people like judging her, you actually see the very final panel where it shows Supergirl actually listening. She's actually paying attention to every voices on Earth, and she finally hears that one voice of somebody being very threatening. So when she flies towards the place, she just barges right into the train tracks. Apparently it's a moving train, and there's these guys trying to rob or steal some kind of data. And this is the part where the story starts to get really interesting. This is where it starts to draw, like, reel me in. They built it, and then here I am giving them my money. Take my money. So like I said, she shows up in a moving train. She barges into the place. There's a door opened. No one's paying attention to that at all, which is fine. That's completely fine. Maybe the train stopped. I'm not too sure. But the thing that really caught my attention is when she uses her heat vision and she starts to melt the guns off the guys' hands. It's not exaggerated where the guys are like holding in, you know, their hands are feeling the burn. It's more like it's melting right off their hands. It doesn't really seem that threatening. But that's still kind of cool because I never really wanted to see people so much in pain when they're, you know, the guns being already removed from them. How much more dangerous can they be in front of like Superman or Supergirl? You get me? You get what I'm saying? You know, because Kryptonians are basically like gods. So then the next page, you get to see this like really buff dude just try to take a swing at Supergirl, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. So she ends up creating this like freeze breath like wall type of deal, but it's like a gas cloud just floating right there while she's puffing the damn thing. And the funny thing is, the guy's just on the floor and like, God, it's like I didn't even know what I punched. Like I punched something, but that wasn't even there. So Supergirl tries to tell him like, why would you try to rob people on a train? She can hear practically every heartbeat on Earth, and the moment she hears one out of place or out of rhythm, I guess you should say, you know, she's gonna show up. And she told him, I don't understand why you thought this was gonna end well. And then finally, some other random lady just decides to show up. She says, I believe I can answer those questions. And now the reason why I'm holding the comic book right now is because of this lady right here called Cat Grant. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the lady. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, she tries to tell Supergirl that the people who were trying to hack into her data, she was actually rewriting the data. She was actually stealing the information that the people were trying to steal from her, so she can, I guess you could say like she was trying to reroute the connection so she can know who exactly these people were, or what exactly they were trying to look for. And I thought that was really amazing. And the attitude of this lady reminds me of the lady from the show. So I was like, okay, I can see why now we get some kind of like resemblance from, you know, the TV show Supergirl and the comic book Supergirl for Rebirth. So we fast forward and we find ourselves inside the DEO headquarters, a place that Supergirl was getting help from, you know, from the people that were helping her get her powers back. And they were actually very upset at Supergirl. They said, I don't believe we told you that you could put on the uniform and save these people. And they tried telling her that it's very dangerous for someone like Supergirl to be walking around because they give this kind of like thing. And I like what they said here. They said, the bullets are shot, you know, towards you guys, but the bullets bounce off. So where do the bullets go? And that right there is the danger because you don't know where the bullets go. They could ricochet and hit civilians. They could ricochet and hit literally anything. It could be literally anything, any situation that they're in, the bullets will just be bouncing off and no one pays attention to where exactly they go. And that's actually true. I've always wondered about that because even inside the film that we got to see, very brutal, Batman v Superman, there's a scene where the turrets pop out and they start firing at, you know, Superman. They're kind of reflecting off. Or even in the Man of Steel movie, you get to see the bullets just kind of reflect off. I'm kind of wondering, where exactly do they go? Like, do they show you exactly what locations they're bouncing from? Because I'm pretty sure there's still people walking around the place, or there's still people trying to hide. You get what I'm saying? So it made sense why they were trying to tell her, like, this is why we only call you to use your powers on certain situations. Not every problem needs to be fixed, which is very unfair because Supergirl and Superman like to actually be helpful. They want to be useful to the planet, but they tried telling Supergirl that you've only had a few months to learn about Earth, while Superman had about 20 years to learn about Earth. And again, you're kind of bouncing back and forth between who to agree with and who to disagree with. And it's just like, you know, you understand the situation. And this is where I actually started to get reeled into the comic. I really love the way they took this approach. The last time I read something that was, I guess you could say, like kind of fresh and new on the take of the super family is basically the Superman American Alien. And I really love that series. I cannot wait for the trade paperback for that one. So then we fast forward and we see Supergirl in the house, and I believe these are her adopted parents, and he tried to tell her, her adopted parents try to tell her, like, we try to change the, you know, your scenery, your house with different furniture to kind of match Argo. And she was saying, well, the thing is, it's nice and all, but Argo hasn't looked like that in so many years. So then she starts to feel like she's not really needed. She feels like she needs to find some place where she can really think for herself. And she actually flies towards the Superman, you know, Fortress of Solitude, where you get to see this flashback where it shows Superman giving her this kind of like crest thing where she finally has key, like this key thing where she can actually now go through every room inside the fortress. Now she doesn't have to be restricted in places, and now she's accepted into the family type of deal. And then finally at the very last page, because inside this book there were some things I didn't mention, but there's something at this very last page where you get to see the cyborg Superman, and it says, I told you I followed you to Earth. And I'm not gonna spoil anything else, but I believe in the second issue we finally get to see what exactly is going on inside the Superman, or the cyborg Superman, and the light just went out on this one. That's great. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. But anyways, everybody, that's it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope, you know, all of you enjoyed it. I know I said you guys, it's just a habit of mine. I know a lot of you are both genders, or whatever gender you identify with. This issue itself, it really did catch on to me. I really did love it. So my take on it is, I believe you can do without this issue 0 and just jump straight to the issue 1. But if you love the issue 0, or you want to read them both just for the sake of having them, because, you know, issue 0 is kind of like a prequel type of deal, go for it. I say go for it. But personally, you guys, I think with the way this one ended, I will be picking up the Supergirl run. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys want me to continue reviewing by issue. I would actually do this by the issue reviews. I know I haven't done that with like the Nightwing ones and stuff like that, but I would definitely do that with this one. But again, everybody, thank you all so much for watching the video, and I truly do appreciate it. Expect to see another comic book review. I'm gonna still be wearing the same thing because I'm gonna literally do this right after this one. And that's it, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video or in my live streams. Peace out, everyone.